hairstyle. Holy shit. Yeah.
So. Here we are.
Here we are.
Another one.
Yup.
Another day.
Yup.
Another song.
Another song, yeah.
Another story?
Yeah. Something relatable.
Mm-hmm. So, the name of it?
Treat Me Like Your Son.
Right. First of all, I love that. Because, I don't know, that's just not, just that type of perspective, to put that type of perspective in a song title, I feel is a bold move.
It's bold, but we all, whether we want to admit it or not, we do look for characteristics of our mother or father in our partners or romantic interests. So it was an idea that I saw was happening to a lot of the women around me, relatives, siblings. So I was like, okay, this is something I could talk about.
Yeah.
And also put some of my personal experience into it, but make it relatable for everybody.
So what parts of it made it relatable, especially when it comes to the whole parent to child like psychosis?
Because, say, of course there are two different type of energies, masculine and feminine. So we look for that. I think a lot of men look for that motherly presence, and say if they're interested in women, they look for that in their partner, and vice versa, however it goes. So I saw a lot of men who knew they weren't self-sufficient enough, so they would look for other qualities in a woman that could help boost them up a bit, or that they could manipulate and just use for their own benefit. So it goes either way. There could be a positive outcome and a negative outcome.
Right, because that's when you get what some people call baby boy syndrome and shit.
Exactly. That's exactly the type of meaning or illustration I wanted to put into that song. Something like Baby Boy, something like...
Oh, that movie.
Yeah, it's a great movie. That's actually a family movie in my household. So.
Heck yeah. Oh my gosh, because just that part, just the fact that the whole movie just highlighted all the different instances in which that applies and how that is taken out on like your relationships or whatever, especially from like a male's perspective and from the baby mom's perspective too, because then you got daddy issues.
Oh yeah,
so
of course.
There's always like the ping pong there. And I just feel like the fact that you put it in the song like just so plainly or whatever, and also made it like it
like
was relatable and viable. Exactly.
Yeah, I know it came off blunt and very straightforward, but like if you think about it, whether we want to admit it or not, everybody has that. It's a psychological thing.
Yeah, man. Recently, like you can't knock how that forms a person. You can't knock how those bonds and dynamics like ultimately shape your views and how you're going to interact and what you can really connect to on a deeper level.
Yeah.
And that's why I really felt with the song too, because and there's kind of a slight biblical or even theological, whatever you want to call it, take to it as well, spiritual take to it, yeah. Because when you say treat me like your son, it always reminded me of the story of between Isis and Osiris giving birth to Heru, and But no.
Did it say it?
Use it to
Yes.
pause. But yes, the story of Isis and Osiris and how she came to create Heru, which is really kind of the birth of Christ, but we now know is the story of the birth of Christ and everything like that.
Yeah.
She basically had to, the way that it's put in mythology, she was forced to resurrect, him after, he was betrayed and everything like that. And also, and this is just putting it in layman's terms, and as a result of that resurrection, you know, gave birth to a child. But in some stories, in some instances, in depictions of that whole mythology, you'll find that they kind of conflate the relationship between the mother and the son, and the son and the wife, or the wife and the husband even. It's all becomes like this kind of blend or whatever, and I think that really can speak to how we tend to grow up in these roles with our parents.
Oh yeah, of course, and it's been passed down to us for centuries. Like the psychological, just ways that we think, it's just been passed down to us, and we just gotta remind ourselves, like, as things transform and grow, we just gotta remind ourselves, like, all right, this type of mindset doesn't apply to us anymore. Like, let's think of a new way, because this ain't working no more.
Exactly. So would you say that treating like your son has more of a message of self-preservation, or would you say that you wanted to really instill the opposite, like, you know, more, or actually, what would you define as self-preservation really when it comes to
preservation? I want it to be a message to women mostly, because I know, like, I have a big, I wouldn't say big, but most of my following is women. So I really want to, you know, instead of making stuff talking about stuff from a man's perspective, I want to give something that the women can relate to, and also something they can look out for. Like, look out for this mindset.
Right.
Like, don't.
Right.
I'm gonna give people the negative, because I'm gonna be like, all right, learn from this. You know, learn from all my mistakes, my encounters, and something for the men too. Like, so men can be real with themselves. Like, all right, if it's relatable, all right, so make a change about it. So it's not relatable, and it's still gonna be like a good song you can go back to, because it's gonna have that feeling for you. You know, so it's really a lesson to everybody. You know, I see a lot of damaged people nowadays.
Yeah, we all walking around traumatized in some form or fashion, and I definitely agree with you on that. Like, especially when it comes to drawing the line in the sand, like, okay, that can't happen when we are supposed to be, you know, connecting with each other, or building with each other, elevating each other, and everything like that. Especially if we're all at a point now, like, especially, you know, generation wise, where we can stand back and say, understand, like, and point out, like, why, you know, we are the way we are.